The true test of a person's character is not the exercise of their rights, but how they use power when they have it. Power reveals more about a person than almost anything else. But why does power change people? Why do some, when placed in positions of authority, act with compassion and fairness while others succumb to cruelty and domination? The answers to these questions are unsettling, as they challenge our understanding of human nature and morality. Could it be that ordinary people, those we consider kind and gentle, are only a step away from committing acts of cruelty under the right conditions? Renowned psychologist Philip Zimbardo spent years studying how environments and situations influence human behavior. His groundbreaking work culminated in the concept of the Lucifer Effect, a theory that examines how normal individuals can engage in destructive actions when placed in extreme circumstances. It's a phenomenon that reveals the profound impact of context, authority, and group dynamics on our actions. Imagine yourself handed power over others. Not superhuman strength or fantastical abilities, but the kind of authority we encounter daily, over colleagues, subordinates, or even strangers. Would you remain grounded, treating others with dignity? Or would the allure of control change you? History shows that power often corrupts, not just those in extraordinary positions, but anyone given unchecked influence. This brings us to one of the most illuminating experiments ever conducted, an unsettling glimpse into the human capacity for both good and evil. Let's journey back to 1971, to the basement of Stanford University, where Dr. Philip Zimbardo devised an experiment that would forever change psychology. His aim was to explore what happens when people are divided into roles of power and powerlessness. He recruited 24 young male students, healthy, intelligent, and with no criminal background, to participate in what was supposed to be a 2-week study. These volunteers were randomly assigned roles, some as prisoners, others as guards. To create a realistic environment, the basement was transformed into a mock prison. Prisoners wore identical smocks with ID numbers instead of names, stripping them of individuality. Guards were equipped with mirrored sunglasses to obscure their eyes, symbolizing emotional detachment. The goal was to simulate a system of oppression and see how participants would react. What unfolded went far beyond anyone's expectations. Initially, the participants seemed to approach their roles as a game, but within hours, the dynamic shifted. Guards began exercising their authority in ways that became progressively cruel and degrading. They used psychological tactics to divide and humiliate prisoners. For example, they forced prisoners to clean toilets with their bare hands, denied them basic necessities, and deliberately disrupted their sleep. Meanwhile, the prisoners, despite knowing it was an experiment, started to exhibit real distress. They rebelled on the second day, only to face retaliation that further cemented their submissive roles. By the third day, the situation had spiraled. Some prisoners experienced emotional breakdowns.
I was told that I couldn't quit. And at that point, I felt that, well, it was really a prison. And at that point, I don't know, there's no way I can describe how I felt. I just felt totally hopeless. More hopeless than I'd ever felt before.
While others internalized their roles so deeply that they complied with every demand, no matter how unreasonable. The guards, emboldened by their unchecked power, escalated their behavior. They began using punishments like solitary confinement, fostering a toxic environment where empathy was virtually erased. What had started as a study quickly morphed into a psychological nightmare. A crucial moment came when Christina Maslach, a graduate student, visited the site. Unlike others who had normalized the escalating abuse, she was horrified by what she witnessed. Her strong objection forced Zimbardo to confront the ethical collapse of his experiment. What was meant to last 2 weeks was terminated after only 6 days. In hindsight, even Zimbardo admitted that he had become too engrossed in his role as the prison superintendent, losing sight of the bigger picture. One of the most striking aspects of the experiment was how easily the participants adapted to their assigned roles. Guards justified their actions as simply following instructions, while prisoners rationalized their submission as unavoidable. Alexander Solzhenitsyn's reflection seems apt here. The line dividing good and evil cuts through the heart of every human being. The Stanford Prison Experiment made this abstract idea disturbingly tangible. The Lucifer Effect, named after the biblical fallen angel, explores how situational factors can lead ordinary people to commit extraordinary acts of cruelty. Zimbardo argued that evil is not a fixed trait, but something that emerges under specific circumstances. This challenges the comforting notion that only bad people do bad things. Instead, it suggests that we are all vulnerable to the influences of power, authority, and group dynamics. Friedrich Nietzsche's warning resonates here. Whoever fights monsters should see to it that in the process he does not become a monster. In the experiment, the guards' behavior was shaped by the dehumanization of the prisoners. By reducing individuals to mere numbers, the guards no longer saw them as equals. This psychological distance made it easier to justify their actions, a phenomenon exacerbated by a concept known as de-individuation. De-individuation occurs when people lose their sense of individual identity, often as part of a group. It's why mobs can act with a ferocity that individuals might never display alone. The guards' mirrored sunglasses, for instance, symbolized anonymity, reinforcing their detachment from the consequences of their actions. This is not unique to Stanford. History is filled with examples of atrocities committed under similar conditions of anonymity and groupthink. Zimbardo's work highlights how systems shape behavior. He observed that abusive environments often result from systemic failures rather than individual malice. This insight is both unsettling and hopeful. While systems can corrupt, they can also be restructured to encourage empathy, accountability, and kindness. Albert Camus captured this duality when he wrote, "The only way to deal with an unfree world is to become so absolutely free that your very existence is an act of rebellion." So, how do we resist the Lucifer effect? Zimbardo proposed the idea of everyday heroism. Small, consistent actions that challenge injustice and uphold human dignity. Heroism doesn't always require grand gestures. Sometimes it's as simple as speaking out when something feels wrong, as Christina Maslach did. These moments of courage disrupt cycles of harm and remind us of our shared humanity. The Stanford Prison Experiment also underscores the importance of self-awareness. Understanding our susceptibility to external influences helps us make deliberate choices. Hannah Arendt's concept of the banality of evil warns that ordinary people can commit atrocities when they stop questioning authority and moral norms. Resisting this requires vigilance and a commitment to empathy, even in challenging circumstances. Similar lessons emerge from other studies, like Stanley Milgram's obedience experiments. Participants, under orders, delivered what they believed were lethal shocks to strangers. This revealed how authority figures could override personal ethics. These findings emphasize the need to cultivate environments that empower ethical behavior over blind compliance. The Lucifer Effect forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about ourselves, but it also offers a path forward. By fostering critical thinking, compassion, and resilience, we can resist the forces that dehumanize us. History shows that even in the darkest times, individuals have chosen to be the light. From whistleblowers to those who sheltered others during crises, these acts of heroism remind us of our potential for good. In today's world, these lessons are more relevant than ever. Social media, polarized ideologies, and groupthink can amplify the very dynamics Zimbardo studied. Yet they also offer opportunities to challenge these forces. By engaging in meaningful dialogue and supporting one another, we can create systems that prioritize human dignity over division. As Albert Einstein observed, the world is a dangerous place, not because of those who do evil, but because of those who look on and do nothing. Let us be the ones who act, who question, and who strive for a better world. The Lucifer Effect may expose humanity's capacity for darkness, but it also illuminates the immense power of choice and resilience. It challenges us to ask, when faced with injustice, will we stand by or step forward? What are your thoughts? How much of our behavior is shaped by circumstance? Share your perspective in the comments below. And if this topic intrigues you, check out the recommended books linked in the description. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more thought-provoking content. Let's continue uncovering the complexities of human behavior together.